All right, so we're finishing up on the notes from 1.5 with word problems. So we're starting with question 4, and we're going to go through, read it, highlight it, okay, and then we'll write the equation. You may need to draw a picture in this case, okay? So I'll walk through this one with you. It says when two opposite sides of a square are increased by 3 centimeters, and the other two opposite sides are decreased by 1 centimeter, a rectangle with a perimeter of 40 results. Find the length of a side of the original square. So how many shapes were mentioned there? 2. Okay, we mentioned a square and a rectangle. So you're going to want to draw a square and a rectangle. And we know that a square, all the sides are the same, right? And a square. Do we know specifically what the length of the side of the square is? We don't know anything about it, so we're going to call it X. Square, all the sides are the same. We're going to call them X. Now they do a little something to the length and the width, and then all of a sudden we change that square to a rectangle. So it says, when two opposite sides of a square are increased by 3. Increase means add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Add. So we're adding 3 to one of the sides of the square. So how do I write that mathematically? Increase one of the sides of the square by 3. Perfect. X plus 3. But we know in a rectangle, if this side is x plus 3 on the bottom, the opposite one is x plus 3. Then it says, and the other two opposite sides are decreased by 1. Decreased, operation means to subtract by 1. So take the square and decrease it by 1. How do I represent that? X minus 1. So that's x minus 1, and that one is x minus 1. It says a rectangle with a perimeter of 40. Which one is the perimeter of 40? The square or the rectangle? The what? Rectangle. Rectangle with a perimeter of 40. Perimeter means add up all the sides. So we got to go all the way around the picture. So somebody give me the equation that's going to work for this. Add up all the sides. Add up all the sides. Adriana, nice and loud. What do we got? Add up all the sides. Pick one of the sides to start with.
X plus 3.
Good. So she picked this one up here. Keep going all the way around.
Plus x minus 1.
Good.
Plus x plus 40.
Awesome.
Plus x minus 1.
Yep. Equals.
Equals 40.
Perfect. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause the video so you guys can go ahead and solve that. Once you've solved it, turn the video back on. So x equals 9. Now I've got to answer the question. It says, find the length of a side of the original square. So the squares we call the sides were what? X. So what's my final answer to the problem? What is it? It's not 8. It's, what's x equal? 9. That's what they're asking for. They're not asking for anything about the sides of the rectangle. The problem just asks, okay, what's the side of the original square? 9. Okay? All right? Go ahead, flip it. So, up at the top there, I see some math words, consecutive and integers, and then I see even, and then I see odd. Even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8. Odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, we can keep on going. Integers, negative numbers and positive numbers. So let's make a note of that. Integers, okay, are negative and positive numbers. So the only other word we need to talk about is consecutive. What does that word consecutive mean? Consecutive. Anybody know what that means? In a row, yeah, one right after the other. Okay, consecutive. Right after each other. So consecutive integers, 5, 6, 7. Are those one right after the other? 5, 6, and 7. So what if I turn this into algebra? Algebra just means let's bring in some variables to confuse things. So I say, well, what if I call 5, what if I called it x? And then I had to get to 6. How do I go from 5 to 6? I just do what? Add 1. So if my first number is x, how do I get to my next number? X plus 1. How do I get to 7, or my third number? X plus 2. You got it. What about even integers? Where did I put it there? 4, 6, 8. So if I call my first one x, how do I get to my next even integer? This is 4 and that's 6. This is x. How am I going to get to the next one? X plus 2. I had to jump 2. Now how do I get to this next one? Awesome. X plus 4. All right, what about odd integers? We don't want to double it, okay? That happens here with the 4 and the 8. But what if I had 6, 8, 10, okay? That was coincidence that happened with those numbers. Good. Looking for patterns. That's awesome. So, odd integers, 5, 7, 9. 5, 7, 9. I call my first one x. Yeah. Is it x plus 1? So I went from 5 to 7. What am I jumping? X plus 2. It's playing with your head, right? Because we're talking about odd numbers. But always go back to this. If this is my x, what's my jump? I'm adding 2. Now, how do I get to my third number? X plus 4. Because now my jump from 5 to 9 was adding 4. So are these two always going to be the same? Yes. They're always going to be the same. Odd numbers are 2 apart. Even numbers are 2 apart. Okay? You're talking about the distance apart. You're not talking about the numbers themselves. Okay? All right. So let's take a look at these word problems. 2 more to go. So it says find 2 consecutive integers whose sum is 45. How many integers am I looking for? 2. And what kind of numbers am I looking for? Consecutive integers. So go right up to the top and use your little cheat sheet up here. This first one says consecutive integers. So my first integer always is going to be x. Always, always. my second integer is going to be what? If my first one is x, what's my next one have to be? X plus 1. Whose sum? What does sum mean? S-U-M. Add them. Is means equal 45. Somebody give me the equation. It's Juliana, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
X plus X plus 1
Awesome. X plus 1 equals 45. All right, I'm going to pause it, solve it, and then turn the video back. So we should get x equals 22, but now we've got to answer the question. So what's my first integer? If it's x, it's what? 22. And my next consecutive integer is 22 plus 1, which is 23. You got it. Okay. Last one. Highlight. Whoa. 3 consecutive even integers. 3 numbers, consecutive even integers. Such that the sum of the smallest and 3 times the second exceeds, holy smoke, twice the third by 38. Find the integers. How many integers do I have? 3. And what kind are they? Consecutive even. Go ahead. Use your cheat sheet up at the top. Consecutive even said x plus 2, and x plus 4. So, first is x, second, x plus 2, third, x plus 4. All right, so I'm going to pause, and I want us to write the equation. All right, let's solve that equation. So x plus 3x plus 6. Good so far? We had to distribute. Equals, we got to distribute here. 2x plus 8 plus 38. Okay with the distributing? Now we got to combine. You guys are great with showing your work on the quiz. Okay? Everybody that showed work did really, really well. So now I'm going to subtract 6. And then subtract 2x. What's my first integer going to be? My first even integer is going to be, anybody? 20. So if my first even integer is 20, what's my second even integer? Anybody? 22. And what's the third one? 24. Okay.